This indicator was created for one purpose only: to illustrate a single point, the totality of Fibonacci values. Fibonacci is everywhere, even in the seemingly random numbers that represent price. The magical power of Fibonacci is that it acts as the fingerprint of everything proportional, meaning everything that exists in a state of balanced harmony. The totality of Fibonacci: why human psychology, fractals, and nature all converge to the same ratios. Human consciousness is built around whole numbers. We round, anchor, and structure our world using values like 100, 200, 3,000, or 10,000. Whole numbers comfort us. They create a sense of order in a complex reality. But behind this preference lies a deeper cognitive mechanism. When humans react to whole numbers, they generate behavioral fractals. A whole number acts as a psychological anchor, and the collective reaction around that anchor produces waves, clusters, repeating levels, and cycles of expansion and contraction. Once a system begins generating fractals, it naturally converges to the mathematical ratios that keep those fractals stable. These are the Fibonacci ratios. Chapter 1. How human psychology creates fractals in markets. When we examine price behavior around round numbers, we consistently find the same patterns. At $100, trading activity increases. At $3,000 in Ethereum, we see the formation of psychological barriers. Buy and sell orders concentrate exactly on whole numbers, and stop losses cluster just above or below them. Market makers take advantage of this clustering by hunting liquidity around those zones. The repetitive behavioral reaction to whole numbers creates recurring pressure zones, bursts of volatility, local consolidations, collapses of structure, and organized expansions. In other words, it creates a human-generated fractal. Not one created by nature, but one produced entirely by collective psychology. Chapter 2. Human fractals naturally lead to Fibonacci ratios. A fractal can only survive if its expansions and contractions follow fixed proportions. Without stable proportionality, the structure breaks apart. The only ratio that preserves this stability is the golden ratio, 1.618. Once a behavioral pattern repeats around round numbers, it begins to self-organize around Fibonacci proportions. This happens because the golden ratio prevents collapse during expansion, preserves structure during contraction, maintains energetic balance, allows scalable stability, and creates predictable probabilistic behavior. It is the geometry of equilibrium. And because the financial market is a chaotic system constantly seeking balance, even if that balance is emotional, it naturally falls into Fibonacci ratios. Chapter 3. When psychology meets chaos, Fibonacci becomes absolute. Once a fractal emerges inside a chaotic system, Fibonacci ratios are no longer simply an effect. They become a law of nature. Not a law of finance, not a trading trick, but a fundamental law of energetic dynamics. Any chaotic system that organizes into fractals will stabilize around Fibonacci ratios across every measurable dimension: price, time, space, and energy. Chapter 4. If Fibonacci is absolute, we should find it even in the price numbers themselves. This is exactly what the indicator reveals. If Fibonacci ratios are universal, they must appear in all measurable quantities: wave sizes, corrections, breakouts, structural levels, time cycles, and even the price numbers themselves. Price is not merely an economic narrative. Price is the numerical expression of stored and released energy inside a chaotic system. If the system stabilizes at 1.618 or 0.618, then the numbers at which price pauses, reverses, or accelerates will also converge to Fibonacci levels. This chart demonstrates this clearly. Price stops at Fibonacci-derived price values. Price reverses precisely on Fibonacci levels. Liquidity pools form around these values. Expansion and absorption occur exactly at Fibonacci harmonic prices. Even whole numbers align with Fibonacci structure because of the human behavior concentrated around them. This is not coincidence. This is universality. Chapter 5. Nature confirms the principle. If Fibonacci appears in markets, it is not because traders consciously choose it. It is because markets behave like natural systems. Nature uses Fibonacci because it is the most efficient structure for growth. It distributes energy in the optimal way. It allows expansion without collapse. It organizes chaos into stable form. If Fibonacci governs the growth of trees, the spirals of galaxies, the rotation of hurricanes, biological proportions, and the phase rhythms of fractals in nature, then it must also govern the levels where price pauses and reacts. Chapter 6. The One Truth About Markets. Price does not respect Fibonacci. Markets do not choose Fibonacci. They cannot escape it. A chaotic system driven by fear, greed, expectation, mass psychology, and fractal repetition will always gravitate toward the same proportional structure that nature itself is built upon. And because nature is built on Fibonacci, the market is built on Fibonacci as well.